collections that lie there in that old curiosity shop.
Well, drat. Here I am in Quakertown, Pennsylvania. Now, Philadelphia is the Quaker city, the city of brotherly love. But there's also a city called Quakertown, which is north of Philadelphia. Anyway, the first antique mall that I went to is closed because I didn't bother to look it up. I thought, most shops are open on a Wednesday. In my experience anyway, in this part of the country, if an antique store is going to be closed, it'll be closed on Monday and Tuesday. And their 5-day week is, Wednesday through Saturday, or through Sunday. Yeah. Anyway, it was closed. So I went to a thrift shop that I didn't know existed, and I bought something. It's in the back of the truck. I'm going to show you in just a minute. But right now I'm at a drive-through to get a coffee, and then there are 2 more antique shops in downtown Quakertown I'm going to take you to, so we're going to go shopping there. Okay. Well, here's something you don't see every day. Now, you say, wait a minute, yeah, we see Victrolas every day. Well, not like this, because look over here on the right-hand side. What's missing? There's no crank. Did it fall off? No, because there'd be an escutcheon plate right there. This is basically a Victor Model 16, but it's outfitted with an electric motor. So it's an Electrola, and gold-plated, of course. This is where the light bulb would be so that you could turn some light on. But you don't see too many of these. They were expensive when they were new. We can't really get to it back here. But there are 2 double doors on the back that open up. This one is falling off. And the electric motor is actually in there. So they were made in the 1920s, the late teens. I'd have to go back and check my book to remember the actual dates, but the Victor 16 cabinet there with an electric motor installed inside, again, that's not something that I see every day. It's going to need restoration. They're asking $350. Of course, when I say an electric Victrola, it's still acoustic. We're still amplifying the sound through the reproducer, the same old reproducer that would be on a non-electric model. The only thing electric about it is the motor that engages the turntable, but there's no electrical amplification yet. Not yet. Anyway, here I am. Let's see what else we can find. I had to show you that. Ooh, look at this speckled thing. I can't remember. Blue speckled vase. $16. Seems to me I ought to know who made it without turning it upside down, but that's a glaze that looks familiar to me. Ooh, Katie, vintage and vinyl. She loves, and so do I. Oh, they're only $10. That is great if they're not chipped. This is the tea room pattern of a glass tea room. Did Indiana make it? Yeah, I think Indiana made it. And it's prone to chipping, but it's one of the most Art Deco patterns you'll see in Depression glass. Yeah, there's some little chips there and there. This one on the top has some flea bites, but not bad. The one on the bottom here has more significant chips on it, so I think I already have a couple of these, but $10 for a tea room dish like that isn't bad. And don't quote me, because sometimes when I'm talking and filming, what my mouth and my brain, they don't always meet up, so I'm trying to remember if it's Indiana glass or not. I think so. Let me put this down. And here's some ballerina soup bowls. Now, I don't know how common they are. If I can get this... Hold on. Don't drop it. Don't drop it. Don't drop it. And it says... Rimmed soup bowl, green depression, $30 each. You can see the cameo ballerina dancing right in there. I like that pattern. But I'm definitely going to get that one piece of tea room. The name of the pattern, tea room. Hello, Bert. I guess that's Bert. I don't remember. I'm sure I used to watch it. I know everyone has memories of the little putz houses. $8. I think they started out being made in Germany, and then after the war, most of them came from Japan. Here's a few more. It's just not Christmas without a good old putz village, is it? I think somebody reproduces the little windows, because they always seem to be broken out. What is this? A bullfighter's hat? My goodness. What is this down here? $58. It's another nice piece of pottery. Gosh. You know, I'm better at glass than I am pottery, and a lot of them mimicked each other's glazes, so I'd really need to know my stuff to be able to tell you what it is. There's a big old Edison diamond disc for $12. We haven't really talked about these before. They're a 1/4 inch thick, and that's how Edison made them. We have, let's see, we'll focus in, Go Emmeline by the Green Brothers Novelty Band, and She Loves Me. Oh, Billy Jones on the vocal. If you see these, you cannot play Edison records on a Victrola, because the Edison records take a sapphire, a permanent stylus on the Edison machines, and if you put a steel needle on that, you will ground it up into you'll ground it to oblivion. Poker chips and things. I think everybody recognizes the reproduction radios. Oh, now here's a piece of Blue Weller, Blue Drape. I'm sorry, not Blue Weller. It's Weller pottery, but the pattern is called Blue Drape. And it's one of my favorite patterns by them. $38. I know it's not coming in. Blue Weller vase. Yeah, I love this Blue Drape. And if memory serves, I think it's a pattern that came out maybe sometime around the Second World War into the early 20s. It's just it was popular, and there's lots of it, and I'm attracted to it, but I don't have any in my own collection. I'm going to have to think about that, because I like the glaze, and it is kind of deco, and it's not very expensive. Christmas light bulbs. And look at this down here. Aren't these great? The old iron Christmas tree stands with the light bulbs in them. Before I head upstairs, I want to show you this old door, which looks like it's made of quarter sawn oak, but it's artificial graining, and it's very well done. It was a popular thing to do if you had a wooden door. Well, artificial graining has been around for a long time, and it's just wonderful that it's never been painted. That's never been overpainted. That's paint, but that paint has been on that door for over 100 years. No doubt. Okay, there's an upstairs in this beautiful old building, and so I'm anxious to get up there. Try not to make you too dizzy as we go. I'm immediately drawn to these two portraits that are in identical frames, so we must be looking at husband and wife. What do you think? Sometime after the Civil War, maybe 1870s, 1880s, there's husband and wife. Look at this figural lamp. And it says Art Deco figural lamp with working glass, Diana the Huntress. Okay, I'm getting ready to make this video, and that Mama, I want to buy my mama these Christmas shoes song came on. I can't. Hold on. Let me have some of this coffee. It's a nice song, but any of you like me, when that song comes on, I have been running around, and I'll tell you what, I am in and out. I haven't even taken this coat off yet, but I've got to get this video done because I've got to tell you that I bought a couple things in that store I want to show you, and I want to ask you a question about this inkwell because you might be able to help me out on that. First of all, now I know some of you have noticed this because you've said, your eyeglasses leave a dent in the side of your head. Well, they do, right here and right here. That's because they're too tight right here. What is this coming in? Hold on. So I went back to the place to say, okay, what I want you to do is bend them just a little bit so that they're not like leaving these indentations in the side of my head. And the girl was like, well, I think it's your head. I said, okay. I mean, it is my head, but, well, we can't do anything with the glasses. We can't, like, it's not the kind of, we can't adjust those. I can't adjust my head. All right, I'm going to take them somewhere else because I'm not really settling for that answer. I ought to get a pair of pliers and go at them myself is what I ought to do. Okay, calm down. 'Tis the season. I haven't decked my halls yet. A little bit on this mantle. I'm going to do some more and you'll see. But right now, let me show you a couple of things. I hope you enjoyed. I didn't do a lot of filming in those stores because I just didn't, my camera got wonky and half the stuff got erased and then I didn't have as much memory as I thought. And yeah, this is the real thing. These are old, late 50s, early 60s, and I use them, so I am getting ready. But the key is, if you're going to use these old things, put them on a dimmer switch. Yeah, you know, brighten them up when you need it, but then turn them down so they don't heat up as bad. Because these bad boys heat up, as you know. But I still like using the antiques. Now, in the store, where is it? Oh, this is what I bought for resale. Wait till you see these. Now, I've got to put electric cords on them. I've never seen, you know how much I like matching pairs of boudoir lamps, yeah? Dresser lamps, boudoir lamps. Look at these. Wait a minute. Moriage elephants, a matching pair. Of course, hold them still. That one has one little chip at the base and that's it. Look at those old brass sockets. Now these are made in Japan and they're going to date to between the wars. That's sometime after 1921 when they stopped saying Nippon but started saying made in Japan, and before 1939. So between 1921 and 1939 these came out of Japan and here they are. I need to wire them. And these are going to look, I mean, you know, these are so cool. You don't even have to use these as boudoir lamps. If you like elephants or have an exotic interior, or you just want something different, there's no damage on them except that little tiny flea bite on the bottom of that one base. Then for myself, I have started collecting these and restoring them. This will be my third one, so I guess now I have a collection. These came on the scene, you find these in the Sears and Roebuck catalog in the 1930s. I'm gonna guess they made them into the 50s. I don't really have time to look it up, but it doesn't matter. Most of the time this Visca, and that's what this stuff is. I think sometimes ladies' hats were made out of this. And now what's missing is the base, which would have the light bulb in it. No worries, I'll come up with a base. And I gotta pull that out. But they have these little glass, I don't know whether you can see, under there. See up in there? Now I'm missing a couple of them, but I've got some spare. Now the light bulb goes up in, and the light from the light bulb radiates out into these glass spears here, like that, and then they light up. And you can color the ends of them on the inside, and that gives the different color to the glass on the outside. Now, a lot of times this Visca fades to a, you know, like a brown color. It looks like a dead Christmas tree. This one is still pretty vibrant. So I have something that I'll fashion to be a base. I'm going to replace the missing pieces of glass, and we'll have this all lit up, and you'll see it. Okay, now let's get on with it. Here is from Jenks in South Philly on Washington Avenue. And a whole bunch of you told me, go back and get that chinoiserie screen. I haven't done it yet. Maybe tomorrow. I hope it's still there because $165, what a bargain. Yeah, I really need to go back and get that. But here's the little desk that I bought, which is an inkwell, as you can see, and it is shaped like a table. And there are two inkwells in it made of glass. And we can see they open up like that. They come out of there. All right, and then I better pull them out before I drop them. And then in here is, we open the lid and we can put nibs in there. You see, there's a spot for nibs. And if I pull that little drawer handle, what happens? Nothing. Because this is articulated. It's a fancy word that just means it moves. So it pivots like a game table. But let me take the glass inkwells out. Put them over here. And now you can see the top. And what you do is you pivot the thing, just like an old-fashioned game table, yeah? So you can put all kinds of writing accoutrements in there, maybe some short pens, stamps, rubber bands, paper clips, Tic Tacs, whatever you want. And then you just slide it back. Okay? Now, here's what I'm going to give you my opinion, and my opinion, you know, I'm just not blowing in the wind. But what do I know? I didn't study antiques anywhere. It's just my gut feeling. I did a little research on this, and I found an example of it on the site called First Dibs. Some of you may be familiar with First Dibs. It was described by the owner as being made in England and dating from the 1880s or the late Victorian era. Now, I don't know about the made in England, because the person didn't give any. This is totally unmarked. There's no mark on it at all. So I kind of have my English doubts a little bit, and I'll tell you why in a second. I can't say it was made in England. I don't know. The person selling it just said made in England, but remember, you cannot just trust all of those descriptions. You're not purposely trying to mislead anybody, but sometimes people just don't get it right, including me. Most of the time I don't get it right, or a lot of times I don't get it right. The other thing, so I don't know about the made in England. The 1890s, I don't think so. I think it dates to the early 20s. Now, why do I think it dates to the early 20s? Look at the piece of furniture that it's mimicking. What is it mimicking? That's one thing. Well, it's mimicking a Jacobean style table. That Jacobean revival, those tables were so popular in the 1920s with the great big bulbous legs right there and the stretcher. Notice how low the stretcher is on this table. It's almost down to the ground. You see that? Very typical. I'll try to put some pictures in right here of some Jacobean style tables. A lot of times they're oak, sometimes they're mahogany, sometimes they're a walnut veneer, but they were very popular in the 1920s. So the form of the table here does not appear to be Victorian. I would also think that a Victorian piece would be higher quality. Now this is nice. It's well made, it's nice quality, but I would just expect the Victorian piece to be a cut above. Also the color of the wood, I think this might be ash, could be another type of a hardwood, but it has a nice grain on it, and it does remind me of ash. If it were Victorian, I would think walnut, mahogany, chestnut, oak in the late Victorian period, but not this. Notice how distinctive that grain is. It almost looks like artificial graining, like the door that we saw in that antique shop. But this isn't paint, that's actual wood. Okay? And so just overall, the construction, the form, the wood, the scale of it and everything makes me think early 1920s. The other reason why I don't feel English is we know the English put hallmarks on everything. The little silver mounts here that hold the top and the bottom together, that's just, that's either, not German silver, nickel plate. It's either like a nickel plate or a chrome plate. That's not silver plate, and there are no hallmarks anywhere. If it were Victorian, I would expect silver plate. If it were English, I would expect some hallmarks on here. Now, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but I would love to know what your thoughts are. Disagree with me, agree with me. But what's helpful is if you say, no, I think it's made in England 1890. I want to know why. It helps me to learn if you tell me why you think that. Just like I told you why I think it's 1920s, not Victorian, and maybe not made in England. All right? Have I talked too much about it? We're going to put the inkwells back on. Hey, if you do calligraphy, yeah, or if you just like nice things, maybe you like the idea of feeling like you're on Downton Abbey, you know, Lady, whatever she is, Flibbity-Gibbet. She gets up in the morning, has her coffee, goes over to the writing desk and does her correspondence. You could pretend, right? Why not? Anyway, it's a nice piece, and it is up for sale right now in the Old Curiosity Shop. That's it. Now, with the dents in the corner of my head, I'm going to finish this cup of coffee and get to decorating this Christmas tree. I hope you guys are having a nice day, and thanks for watching and hanging out with me in those antique stores. I know I've forgotten something, but in the comments below, tell me what you think about that inkwell. I would love to know what your opinion is. Okay, everyone, that's it. I'm Scott from the Old Curiosity Shop, saying thanks for watching, wait for the cat, and so long for now. Can't do anything with those eyeglasses. The problem is my head.